We haven't really touched on Audley Harrison as yet on 5 Live Sport. He said after Saturday's defeat that he'd sit and reflect on his options. There was no mention, though, of retirement. Someone who's been at Audley's side throughout the build-up and on the night can perhaps shed some light on his future. Harrison's promoter is Eddie Hearn, and he joins us now. Evening, Eddie.
Evening, guys.
Evening. What have the last 48 hours been like?
Pretty depressing, really. I mean, we're a team in this together, not just me, but everyone who's been involved in his training camp. And, there's a lot of people that won't be feeling sorry for Audley Harrison, but anyone that knows him, it's a tough time for him. And it was a poor performance. We all know that. He said before the fight there'd be absolutely no excuses, and there are no excuses. He went into the fight feeling great, a great training camp. Everything was absolutely perfect, and he didn't deliver. And he's going to have to live with that, unfortunately.
There are a lot of people who won't be feeling sorry for him as well from the public because he walked away with a decent amount of money from this fight.
Yeah, he did. You can't forget that he's worked hard to get there. I mean, when I met him only a year ago, we had to devise a campaign that, would mean a lot of hard work and a lot of determination to try and get to the foothold of his dream, what he wanted to achieve. And that was, coming over, fighting in Prize Fighter, which is our tournament, and then fighting against Michael Sprott, which he did with one arm for 9 rounds and took a battering. Had to have a big operation after that. Finally, we got the Hay fight. He'd become European champion. Whether people say he deserved to get the shot or not, he was top 15 in the WBC and the WBA. He got the shot, and frustratingly, he didn't take it. And I think what's going to really haunt him more than anything is his performance, not necessarily the result. He's really up for this, and he's going to have a lot of sleepless nights, unfortunately.
So I've spoke to other people in boxing, and some of them have suggested that it was some kind of meltdown that he had in a ring. It was not stage fright, but all of a sudden a realisation of what he was doing there.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I mean, I was in the changing room with him before the fight, and we walked out to the ring together, and I was in the ring before, and we was looking across at Hay. And I didn't really feel as though he was scared or there was any fear or anything like that. And to be honest with you, we weren't too depressed after the first couple of rounds. We expected Hay to come out a little faster, but he wanted to frustrate Hay. He would have been pleased that the crowd were booing and they would trying to force Hay to get more involved with the fight. The disappointing thing was how easily Hay broke him down. And, in his first real big attack, Hay, he got through with ease and he hit him with some big shots. Audley went down and, he got back up, but then he took another heavy barrage. And that was, for me, the real disappointing, thing about how easily Hay broke him down. I don't read too much into the fact that, all right, he threw 40 punches and landed 1. But Hay didn't land a great deal in the first 2 rounds. You could see how, cagey Hay was, and I think he was particularly worried about Harrison's left hand, which, again, was disappointing that we never saw that. But I think that the disappointing thing, like I said, was how easily Hay broke him down, and he proved on the night that he was a different league, and he was just too good for Audley Harrison.
So given that disappointment in the performance rather than the result, where can he go from here? Is his only option to retire?
Well, I don't agree with any sportsman making a rash decision on the end of a bad night. So I think it's going to be very difficult for Audley Harrison to fight in the UK, again, because he's lost a lot of credibility. The problem is with Audley, he talks a great game, and Mike was there. Mike was involved in a lot of the build-up. I think that we all believed that Audley would put up a much better show than he did. Like I said, I've been involved with his training camp. He trained so well, he sparred so well, he was in great physical condition. Everything was set up perfectly. So the fact that he fancied the job so much and gave that air of positivity to the public makes the public even more disappointed that he didn't perform. So his credibility now is probably at an all-time low, which is a real shame. So, he vacated the European title to get the world title shot. He's ranked number 2 in Europe. He could go and effectively fight for the European title again, but, he's 39, has old father time caught up with him, who knows? But, it's a tough night. It's sad for any sportsman to go out like that. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
Because it's a horrible way to go out, and there's no worse place to be humiliated than in the boxing ring. If you've got a heart, you have to feel for him when he was being jeered and shouted, as he left the ring. But when you build up the fight like he builds up the fight and you don't perform, you've got to take it on the chin, and he knows that. He's fully prepared to do it, and like he said, there's no excuses. He didn't perform. Simple as that.
Eddie, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Eddie Hearn, Audley Harrison's promoter, and Mike Costello as well. Thank you very much. Five Live's boxing man who was at ringside in Manchester on Saturday night.